What's going on, dudes? It is Kolosalus here with another video, which is going to be like a review video. I have one coming up for a little bit of a techie stuff like headphones, but I'll get into that when the video comes. But today I'm going to talk about a game which was very anticipated by myself, especially because I was looking forward to like a battle simulation game. And finally it was possible with the next gen, which allows you to have more characters on the screen and basically more graphical intense games. And but it fell short a little bit. And the game I'm going to be talking about today is Ryse, Son of Rome. And as you can see, I have Day 1 edition, which is I bought it on Day 1 on the release of the Xbox and the release game, so obviously. And so what you get inside is the disc, and you get a free 3-day Xbox Live trial and some additional content for Day 1. Which is, I didn't even use these codes, to be honest. I'm just gonna put them back. I'm sending this game back. I'm kind of trading it in, so I'll get a good discount on my next games. And the reason for it, the reason why I'm not keeping this game is I'm gonna tell you in a second. So as always, I've only had one review so far. So we'll start off with the story. So the story revolves around Marius Titus. And he's a newly recruited legionary from a very how could I say it? Very well respected family. They're rich, and the story begins when he comes back to his family mansion after the legionary training. After he was assigned his station, because, as you know, legionaries had different stations in the Roman Empire. For example, Marius went to Alexandria when somebody else could go to Greece, or somebody else could go, to Britannia or something like that. So, yeah, he comes back to his home to basically tell the news to his family. After the training and everything, he was assigned to Alexandria, which is Turkey right now. That's the country that Alexander is in, but barbarians attack Rome at the same time, and his home mansion is getting attacked as well. So him and his father have to protect his family. They do not succeed. His whole family's basically wiped out, and he's going to Britannia to basically, let me just the lighting, because that's horrible. That's better. So he goes to Britannia which right now is Great Britain, to get his bloody revenge. And that's basically the story of the game. There are a few twists, but that's basically it. The good things about the story are that it's fast paced. It's not like the developer is not trying to force it down your throat. Like, they're not saying you have to focus on the story or you're not going to get fun out of the game. They're basically just, the story is there, but if you don't want it, you can just kind of skip it. You can skip most of the cutscenes and stuff like that. So, as I said, it's really fast paced because it switches from one scenery to the other scenery. There's a lot of stuff going on the screen at the same time at almost every single point in the game. And basically it's a really amazing journey. At one time you're in Rome, then the other you're going to the shore of Great Britain. Then you are like in some crazy ass forest where like, I don't know, wild people live and they're crazy shit, insane. So there's, it's a great journey in my opinion. There could be a little bit more, to the story. Maybe his family would be killed maybe later in the game, and at the beginning you would just kind of do missions for your original legion that Marius was in, but they went that way. So, and also it had memorable characters, but there were only 2 of them. The only 2 I can really remember and that were kind of sticking out was Marius, of course, because I really got attached to Marius as a character. They really presented him well, and I'll talk about that in a second as well. But the other one is Vitalian, which is the general. Well, I think he's a general that takes Marius under his wings after his father gets slaughtered, and he basically says that Legion 14, which is his legion, is gonna go and get that revenge. They're gonna go to Britain and basically catch the leader of the barbarians. So Vitalian is the other guy that I got attached to as well. We already seen the story, it doesn't have to be necessarily in ancient Rome, but we already seen this story. Somebody's family is getting killed and he's going away to get his revenge. We already seen this story, so it's nothing new. That's another minus. And the last minus I have noted down here is most of it is kind of predictable. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the twists were interesting and were really well designed. I've got to say that, but just some of the most of the campaign is just so predictable. I was sitting there playing and I was like, okay, that's gonna happen next, and that actually happened. So I was kind of bad as well. So let's move on to the meat and potatoes of this game, which is what everybody's talking about, what everybody is bragging about, and that's the gameplay. So first of all, you're always on foot on game. You never ride a horse, you never ride an elephant, you never ride a rainbow. It's always you on foot. You can, and the only one segment of the game where you're not on foot is when you're controlling what's it called, a Scorpio. Scorpio is like a ballista type thing, like that shoots arrows and stuff. And that's the only other segment of the game that's different than on foot combat or just exploring. That really defeats the game. But I have one plus for the gameplay, which is the initial gameplay. The one in first 20 minutes of you playing the game is amazing. It's kind of simple but really good at the same time. You have those executions which are really how would you say that, rewarding and really brutal, bloody, gory. Amazing. At the first 20 minutes of the game, I was loving it. Then gradually it was going down and down. But first, before I talk about that, let me just talk a little bit about fighting combat. So fighting combat, you have 2 buttons. You have the quick attack and the heavy attack. You have B, which is the dash, like a evasion button, you can say. A is block. And so what your goal is in fighting, to get enemies' health down. So when the skull appears above his body, you can execute him. And way you execute is you press the RT button and the execution starts. And then like a quick time event starts. So whenever his body lights up to be the color, you have to press the corresponding color on your controller, which is X and Y. Pretty much all of them are X and Y's, except a few quick time events when you have to press A to defend yourself against traps and that crazy ass force I was talking about. And that's the combat. That's it. There's nothing else to it. There was one segment in the game at the end where you are trying to get to your final destination, and there's like a long corridor and there are a lot of enemies coming at you, where it's a quick time event all the way. And I wish that they would make, for example, like the battle in I think 3rd or 2nd, well, Might have been the second mission. There's a battle going on the shore of Britannia. I wish that they would make a segment like that, and then you could go around the battle and actually slash some people up. There's also an upgrade system. Upgrades are interesting because they do not actually add anything to the gameplay. You can have more health, more damage. You can generate more damage. There's a special ability which, when you press up on your D-pad, I think, once you kill an enemy, you have more damage on the next kill. And that can stack up so many times. I'm not sure how many, but you also have focus gain, which is like a rage mode engaged, and an XP gain, which XP lets you buy more ability. Well, no ability, but improve your skills and buy new executions, which I didn't know about until like 3/4 of the game, up until the game. But anyway, yeah, so you can buy those new executions, which are always fun. I was always entertained by them, better or less. I was always entertained by them somehow. But the game is boring and repetitive. It really is. It lasts me, I think it took me 31 parts. I've got my playthrough. Link will be BAM! Over there. No, there. I'll put it there. And you can check it out. There'll be a link to the playlist. But the game is really repetitive and really boring. It took me 31 parts, which would be about 6 hours, to finish the game on Centurion, which is the hardest difficulty you can finish the game when you're doing it for the first time. Once you finish it on the Centurion or any other, the legendary is unlocked. The legendary difficulty level. And I've actually went through the game again on legendary difficulty just to find my collectibles, which I'm going to talk about in a second as well. It really came to a point where I didn't want to play the game anymore. I just wanted to finish it. But what didn't make it so bad for me is that I played in sessions. So, for example, I played for an hour there. I finished the recording, so I had to stop the gameplay, because I couldn't play anymore, because I wanted to record the whole playthrough. And then after a few days, I would come back to the game and record 2 hours, and stuff like that. So I think that really made it better for me. I cannot imagine myself playing this game like 6 hours straight. I would just die. It's that bad. It's basically the same gameplay all around the game. The collectibles are stupid. They did not bring anything to the game. Like, for example, the scrolls, they give you like some comics, like comic books you get, which are stupid. I don't understand that. The scrolls should be like some, maybe a legendary actually writing about the battle he was in, or missing his family or something like that. That would be good. To me, that would be good. Or maybe like an audio log. I know that they couldn't record audio logs there, but maybe when you pick up a manuscript, maybe Marius would actually read the manuscript to you. That would be good in my opinion. You also have those vistas, which are basically a nice views. Whenever you have a nice view, you can look for a vista, and the vista is going to be there. I've actually collected all of them. It's almost impossible to find them all without getting some help from internet. But yeah, some of them are really, really impossible. For example, you have like timed one where you're on an arena and arena's going down, like your level which you stand on, the ground is going down, and you have to just time that perfectly. You have to go to the right wall, time the A button, because you collect the stuff with A button. Time it perfectly to get the collectible. If not, you have to go through the whole battle on the arena again to get another chance at that. So that's kind of stupid to me. The game is also not too long. It took me 6 hours to finish on Centurion, where I was looking for the collectibles. You can actually see that, as again, the link will be somewhere there. But on legendary difficulty, it took me probably about the same, because I had to restart the game a lot because I was getting killed and stuff, because legendary difficulty is very hard. They take so much health off of you that this game is on legendary could be frustrating, but it wasn't too frustrating to me. I was getting frustrated, like, what the hell? How did I just die? Sometimes like few people attack you at the same time. With that never happened on Centurion difficulty. So yeah, that's the gameplay. Really repetitive, boring, brings nothing to the table, and yeah, you can see that they try to basically make this game a controller game from a Kinect game, because the combat and the upgrade system are so simple. It just hurts to see this game fail so bad. Now let's go to the big plus of this game, which is the audio visuals. The audio visuals are stunning. I've never seen a game. This is the best looking game I've ever played. Really, it is. I've played a lot of games. The new Total War, the Rome stuff. I'm not sure what's it called even. I played it somewhere on the highest settings. My friend got this PC. What else did I play? I played all the Crisis games, and this is the most beautiful game I played so far in my life. Beautiful animations. The executions look really, really good. Facial expressions, like when you look at the facial expressions when he's attacking or doing the executions, is you can feel the emotion from a human, who's angry or who's in a little bit of a you can say like a berserker mode. You can say beautiful scenery. That's one good thing as well. As I said, one time you're in Rome, which is really well done. The other time you're in the forest. The other time you're in the shore. It's just beautiful. And the way they actually made the forest, you actually feel the atmosphere. You feel that kind of heavy air. Because it was a really kind of were a lot of trees around you, so automatically the air is a little bit more. There's a little bit more moisture in the air, so you can feel that the air is heavier. So that kind of your brain seeing that automatically makes you think that the air around you is a little bit heavier than it actually is. That was a kind of awesome twist, at least on myself. The other thing, great atmosphere. At least in this one level, there was dark. There was stuff running around you which you didn't know what they were, but they were actually barbarians, just dressed in like some bull masks with some horns and stuff. You can actually feel the force. When you hit somebody with a sword on their shield, you can actually feel the force because there's so much going into this game, so many effects going into this game. It just looks amazing. You can feel the force you're hitting the guy with. Also, I have to mention the number of things going on at the same time on the screen. It just blows me away. There are particles. There could be a catapult just shooting stuff. There will be 100 of enemies. On the fighting your own guys, which would be about probably about a total of 100 characters on the same time on screen, and everything's so detailed. It looks amazing. And there are two minuses in the audio visual side. Also the audio side is really good. I think that the dialogues, even though they weren't too much because it's not really a story-driven game, they were done well. They were done very well. I really like the Marius character and Vitalian because they were the two kind of people who were talking in the game. In my opinion, there's not enough character models. You can fight the same enemies. You will fight the same enemies throughout 3 levels, and then they will switch to another type of enemy, which you will fight for another 3 levels, and that will switch again for another 3 levels. You will fight a different enemy. So gets so boring, and that really adds to the repetitiveness of the game. This kind of fighting the same kind of motherfuckers all around. And another thing is that it's really a minor glitch because I've only experienced it once, but when you're playing for a longer period of time, the voices in the cutscenes fade out. You can't really hear them until you restart the game. That's one issue I had with the audio, but other than that, the soundtrack is good. The dialogues are good, and the visuals are just stunning. It's the most beautiful visuals I've seen in a game. So we've talked about everything. Really, the last thing I have to talk about is the multiplayer. Multiplayer is really just more of the same. You just go onto the Colosseum and you just do multiplayer scenarios, which are, if you ever heard of Colosseum, they basically try to kind of replay all of the great battles or feats that Romans actually did in the Colosseum. So that's what you do. It's more fighting and bullshit, it's more of the same. It's more repetitiveness, more boring shit. And there's actually achievement to getting rank 100 in multiplayer. Where I got to rank 3 and I went through 4 full scenarios. It's probably about, one scenario is probably about 15 to 20 minutes gameplay. And I got some XP off some solo, which I didn't actually finish, but I got almost all the way through. So after probably it's about let's say 6 scenarios complete, you're on rank 3, and you have to get to rank 100 to get that achievement. Good luck, boy. So yeah, overall, this game is pretty good. I would recommend it at probably about the, I don't know, $20 to $40 mark when it goes down in price. I'm not sure when that's gonna be, as the game is still new. It's £44 in here, which is probably about 60 something bucks in USA. Do not buy it now or buy it used if you're really eager to play. I know that some people will actually be buying Xbox One right now because the Christmas is over and all the hype is over. So now there will actually be some Xbox One that you can actually buy. That people will have some on stock. But this game is good for I would say 12 hours of your life, where you're going to be playing once and playing it through the second time just to collect collectibles, or just play it through on the legendary difficulty. So I give this game a 4 out of 10. I can't give it any more, and I'm not going to give it any less because it doesn't deserve any less than that. I'm not going to give it any more because there's nothing to this game. Like, if the game like 5 or 6, I could play for a month or 2, straight. Basically, I'll be hooked into the game. This game, I played it for maybe a combined 2 days, and I have no interest in this game anymore. So it's a good one-time experience, like a single-player experience, but other than that, not so much. So as I said in my first review, if you watch the beginning of that review, my video reviews are very strict, and I do like my games. So this is a 4 out of 10. It's still a good game. It's still a recommend. Really, anything that goes below 3 is not recommended. But 4 is still a good game, and I feel bad because I waited for this game for so long. Actually, we got some new games coming out, so I'll get some money back, to get some cash off that. But anyway, that was Kolosalus. I hope you found that review somehow important and somehow helpful to you if you wanted to buy this game. And yeah, it's a good game. If you can see it, used, or you can borrow it from someone, get it. If not, just wait until the price drops. Anyway, that's it. I'll see you later. Peace on the streets.